you scared the daylights out of me. What are you? Besides mad, what are you? Alrighty, sorry honey, I'll leave you alone. Finishing this journey up where we started. Let's do this. Well, as always, Past Mike seems to be right here. I am way too tired and have too many miles to be doing an outro. So, Past Mike, take it away. Tucked away in the southwest corner of colorful Colorado is over 500,000 acres of public land. It contains the headwaters of the Rio Grande and the San Juan alike. It is a true bastion of wilderness. And I just spent 3 days camping, hiking, backpacking, and fly fishing in a little teeny tiny segment of really what this massive piece of public land has to offer. Now, in my brief time here, I think that there was a couple really key things that I saw or experienced that I'd like to share with you. Maybe if you're new to the area or are looking to come to a place like this, it might be valuable to have a couple of these things in the noggin before you make your way out. And moving forward from that, we're going to be looking at the weather, the flora and fauna, the wildlife of sorts, what to bring, and then finally some safety measures, something to keep in mind. So let's jump right into the weather. Looks like rain. Now I know. I'm not a meteorologist. I'm just some guy. I will say though, this is the Mountain West. I don't care where you are, north, central, south, anywhere in the Rockies, you're gonna have some really wild weather patterns. For this particular trip, I got extremely lucky and I didn't see an ounce of rain. Now, what you should be prepared for is literally everything. Chris Traeger, literally everything. It's important to have all sorts. Rain gear, warm gear, hot gear. I mean, you need to be ready to shed layers because the sun will burn you out quick. It's just, there's such a wide variability in the mountains. It's something to keep in mind and it's something to be prepared for because you don't want to get caught with your pants down or stuck in a rainstorm. And yeah, sorry, starting with the boring stuff, but it's important. Now we'll move to the fun stuff, the flora and fauna. Okay, I'll drop the pretentious act. We're talking plants, we're talking animals. And in a place like, well, the Weminuche, it is still such a bastion for wild things. Starting with our fur guys, we got to see, well, moose, elk, deer. That's like the Triple Crown right there. We saw coyotes, we saw all sorts of little rodents, and oh my gosh, if y'all don't know what a pike is, it's like a guinea pig had a baby with a rabbit and then also like was cousins to a mouse. It is the cutest thing in the world. Finishing it off, we saw a lot of sign of critters. And what sign is, that could be tracks, that could be scat, that could be, you know, structures.
Beaver dam, no beavers.
I will say, we didn't see a bear. Thank the Lord. Not a fan of bears, but they're out here and they're, from what I've heard, pretty thick out here, so something to keep in mind. But moving off of our furry critters, let's go to our feathered critters. There's so much in the way of migratory songbirds that come up into these valleys. I don't know any of the actual taxonomy behind them, I just know that they're beautiful and they sing a lovely tune. Going from our feathered to our scaly guys, our fish, we came for the Rio Grande cutthroat and we found them up in a high alpine lake, just swimming and loving their life. Some pretty big ones too. And in the mountain valley, we found eastern brook trout. And for those of you not hip to the whole native trout dealio, brook trout are not native. Now, in a place like this, they are purely wild. They've been there longer than I've been alive. So it's one of those weird controversy things. It's like, well, they're naturalized at this point, blah, whatever. Very cool to see both those species, and then finally ending it up with the creepy crawlies. You're gonna have your mosquitoes, you're gonna have your grasshoppers, your butterflies, so you're gonna have this whole wide range of bugs. I mean, I could sit here all day and name them all. The alpine environment is absolutely crawling with life. If you were just to sit down and just stand still for just a second, you'll see ants, you'll hear grasshoppers, you'll hear birds, you'll maybe see a deer off in the background. There's abundance of life, which is so cool. That should be reason alone to come out here. And if that's not it, maybe critters aren't your thing. Let's talk plants. I mean, first and foremost, we're looking at a wall of evergreens and aspens all around. I mean, that's like that's the typical Mountain West. But what is really cool, what really kind of sets this sort of environment apart would be the mountain wildflowers. And me being so dumb, I'm like, oh look, it's an Indian paintbrush. Oh look, another Indian paintbrush. These are all Indian paintbrushes. Wrong. There's so many different species of wildflowers, and in my ignorance, I don't know the taxonomy behind them, but hopefully as I'm explaining this to you right now, I'm putting up the footage of the actual names and identification of all the different flowers that we saw. I mean, it's seriously a work of art walking through these valleys and seeing just such a wide range of species of flowers. So very cool. So now we've seen both the weather and the critters. Now let's talk packing. What you should pack. I would say pack as light as you can, but don't leave out these three main things. First of which being some sort of cookware. And when I say cookware, I'm talking a propane burner. You can find them in all sorts, Coleman, Jetboil, the whole gamut. I have a Jetboil. In a place like the Weminuche, Colorado, anywhere in the Mountain West, fire is always taboo. If you look at any of the fire danger, moderate, high, blah, 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 it is usually throughout the summer months always high, and there's always some sort of class 1, 2, 3 fire distinction where you are not even close to allowed to build an open fire. So keep that in mind, because you need to have something to cook with, and boil water if you need to purify water. The list goes on and on why these things are so key and convenient as well. The next thing I think kind of goes without saying would be rain gear. And this isn't just for your own personal self. I would say having a good rain tarp for your tent is so important. Even if it doesn't rain, it's going to keep the dew off of you, all your gear. It's just getting wet in a place like this. Yeah, sure, in the afternoon it might feel good, but if you don't get dry, and if you don't get somewhere where you can be dry, you could be in some serious trouble as that evening chill starts to move in. And again, I might be preaching to the choir here. This might seem simple, but it's very, very key. And the third and final thing I think is important, no matter what you're doing in the outdoors, would be a basic med kit. Having the basic necessities, something to patch yourself up with, aloe for your skin. I mean, the sun is going to be beating down on you. You're going to get poked. You're going to get scratched. Having something even minor to get you where you need to go, or at least patch yourself up to the point where you can get in and out of a place, is key. And again, this may sound super basic, but I promise you, it'll save you a lot of hassle in the long run. All right, so that is what you should pack. The last thing we need to look at is some of the safety elements you need to be aware of when you're coming to a true wilderness like the Weminuche. Sending my obligatory, I am on my way. So there you go. Now, in a place as vast and wild as the Weminuche, you got to be safe. There are a lot of, let's just say, risks involved. Solo backpacking, even backpacking in a group out in the middle of flipping nowhere like this. And it's always key to put that into your pre-trip planning and make sure you're aware of these various things before you come out here. And I'm going to go over 3 in particular that are most applicable to this time of year in a place like the Weminuche. Now, first and foremost, wildfires. And it's not just exclusive to the Weminuche. I'm talking all throughout the Mountain West. From damn near June to September, it's fire season. There's a lot of good resources out on the web. I'll link some down below, the ones that I use to track the various forest fires that are going on. because you got to be aware. It'd be a real shame if you show up to the trailhead, there's nothing but fire trucks, or you're camping on one ridge and over the next ridge you see a black plume of smoke and you have no idea what's going on. Having an idea of where the fires are, where they might be moving, how controlled they are, will always serve you in the actual, execution of your trip. The second thing I want to highlight is bears. Those of you who know me, you know I'm paranoid. I'm very spooked when it comes to bears. I've had one very damning experience that has kind of made me hyper aware of bears and bear activity. And there's a lot of preventative measures that you can take in order to avoid any sort of interaction, and that's the best course of action in my opinion. I personally carry bear spray. Since the interaction, whenever I've been in the Mountain West, I carry it almost religiously. I've used it, I know it works. It's always a good thing to have. It's relatively cheap and really easy to use. So in the great gun versus bear spray debate, I sit on the bear spray side. That's up to you. The other thing with a camp and making it bear safe, hanging up your bear bag, cleaning up your trash. This is just common sense camp sort of knowledge, but for real, it makes a significant difference. Hanging up your food far away from camp, cleaning up your camp to, I would say, a pristine level before you leave camp, before you go to bed. Anything that can prevent that critter coming in and around close to your camp, close to you. And the third and final thing that I think you should be aware of is that you are gonna be mostly alone. I think there's a tent all the way out there. I've seen, a group of backpackers and maybe 2 other people camping. That is it. We're talking close to like 15 miles worth of land, and that's all you've seen. You are alone. I carry what's called a Garmin InReach. It's the Mini, and it is a pretty much direct lifeline to help. Granted, it's a subscription. It's gonna cost you a little bit extra, but if you were to break a leg or you were to get, violently ill because you drank bad water, you're so screwed out here. like there's no one coming to rescue you if they don't know you're here. I bet nobody even has an idea I'm on this rock talking to, a black box, a camera. But seriously, you're alone. You can go with a group. Even then, it's still dangerous because how quickly can somebody carry you out if you were to break a leg or seriously hurt yourself? Those Garmin InReaches, and this isn't a plug to Garmin, I know, sorry, but they have an SOS feature where you can just click SOS and you have an expensive, but you have a means out of the, let's just say the crud. So we've looked at the weather, we looked at the wildlife, we looked at what to pack and maybe what not to pack, and finally the safety elements. And I can say that, 3 days of being immersed in the Weminuche, I think I'm in love. This is seriously one of the coolest trips I've ever been on. This is possibly my biggest solo backcountry trip, and possibly the longest too. I mean, this is every element that went into this trip was incredible. The hiking, the backpacking, the camping, the fishing, everything, seeing all the wildlife that we did made it so worth it. And it's just like these compounding elements that just make the whole trip worth it. It's like this whole encompassing beauty of it all. I don't know how to explain it. It's so hard to explain unless you were to actually come out here and do it yourself. And I understand that I'm very privileged in the fact that I'm a bachelor with disposable cash and I can just kind of go and do silly stuff like this, and I don't have time restraints, and I don't have to really do anything. It's the, I guess, the beauty of being a bachelor. And I will say, I won't implore you, but if you are interested in something like this, I would without hesitation pull that trigger, because this is truly amazing, and to experience something like this really could be once in a lifetime. So if that wasn't the biggest plug to the Weminuche, I don't know what is. But any of you who have stuck around to this point, I so appreciate it. I know this is a little bit different than most of my fishing style content. I don't know, I figured this was important. This is a brand new place, and just some things to maybe keep an eye out for, to understand before you were to come. I don't know, if I had this, I would probably appreciate it. I probably would have packed better, but that's beside the point. So folks, as always, thank you so very much for sticking around, and you OG subs, you YouTube commenters, everyone on the Discord, y'all are the best. That's it. Y'all are the freaking best, and I so very appreciate it. So wherever you find yourself, be it in a random mountain valley or sitting at home, make sure to keep those feet in the water. And until next time, tight lines. Oh, howdy there. I guess if you're seeing this, that means you've made it to the end of the video. And if you made it to the end, watch it all the way through, all I gotta say is thank you so much for your support. It seriously means the world. And if you are binging all the fall season content, if you are just so dialed in on the FAS, whatever it is, go check out the Discord, go check out the Instagram. I know you hear me saying that. I know you can scroll through it, but I'm serious. I'm gonna put it right here. I'm gonna put it right here. It is poppin'. We've got pictures and videos from adventures like I'm on right now, which you'll see later. And then on the Discord, dude, the Discord is so much fun. We got this fly of the month contest going on, and every month it gets better and better and better, and people are making some damn crispy flies. And I gotta give a quick shout out to this month's winner. That crispy boy is so freaking money. I would eat that any day of the week. So folks, as always, I just gotta say, thank you so much for your support. I know I try and say it as much as I can, but for real, from my hungry stomach to your home, thank you so much. And yeah, I hope wherever you end up, whatever you're doing, hope you're keeping those feet in the water. And until next time, I have to finish this food. No, tight lines.